Thrasier's making infinite mana, and we could play... Am I not recording?
You're not recording.
Shit.
You want to press it now? Is Cubby editing this one or are you?
Yeah, no, Cubby is.
Okay, good.
Welcome to the podcast, Dylan.
Talk about a fucking Cubby burden.
Talk about a fucking Cubby burden. Yeah. 12 minutes in, there was no moment that I reached over and I hit that button.
Your head's in the wrong place. Anyone ever tell you that?
Actually, yeah,
My
many
doctor says that
times.
every day. He keeps on emailing me. Your head's in the wrong place.
More doctors want to meet you. Only you have to redo the intro.
And then-
my part was great.
Yeah.
Flawless on every word that I said.
I think we just let Cubby screenshot this. And then put that over all of the first 10 minutes of the
Every
podcast.
time Dylan talks,
It's
in
just
the
that.
first bit.
It's a podcast anyway. It's for ears. Don't look. This podcast is brought to you in part by Dragon Shield. Use code PLAYTOWIN5 at the affiliate link down below for 5% off to help support the show.
Welcome to the Play to Win podcast, where we're talking about winning in cEDH. I'm Kermit the Frog.
And I'm Dylan. This week we're talking about green cards in cEDH. I filmed this part afterwards because I am not in the video portion for the first 10 minutes because we forgot to record. So I will see you in 12 minutes.
I hope you all like this image of Dylan that we will be using for the first 12 minutes.
I'm not redoing shit. This week we're talking about green stuff. We're talking about green cards in cEDH. We're talking about the green color identity and what it brings to cEDH. Since we're talking about Commander specifically, we're also going to talk about some lands that produce green mana, even though technically they're colorless.
We're bending a little bit for that,
yeah.
but you can't play them if you're not in green because of color identity, which you reminded me of.
Right. We're starting with green. You chose green first. Any reason you chose green as the first one, or just like it was the one on your mind?
Backwards Wooburg is the order I decided that I thought we should go.
That makes the most sense. Start in reverse.
Yeah, start in reverse, which is how you get out of your driveway a lot of the time. So
what green really offers for cEDH as well as other formats is mana. I feel like that's the biggest one. Birds of Paradise. Like it offers ways to produce mana. That's always kind of been the case.
But there is a secondary thing that green offers too, which is the ability to find creatures from your library and put them into play.
Yeah, tutors, search abilities. We often think that black is like the color that has the best tutors in the format. And like that's kind of true because like Demonic Tutor is the best tutor. There's no doubt about that. But realistically, green has like a lot more relevant tutors than black does, which is kind of strange to say. Like black does have Praetor's Grasp and it has Beseech the Mirror, whatever. Vampiric Tutor's good, but
it has all these other ones that are like only situationally good, like some that need Delirium to be on in order for them to be Demonic Tutor, or something that you have to meet some other requirement, like get in with the creature and then you can sneak it in or something like that.
Black has a lot of bad tutors. Green has a lot of good tutors.
That's the thing. Like, whereas black has maybe 4 good tutors,
I would say off the top of my head, maybe 4 or 5, sure.
One of them you have to give away to somebody else too, which is kind of bad. But like all of the ones in green that have X in their mana cost, like are for the most part good because you're going to be able to put them directly into play. So it kind of like helps you cheat on the mana in a lot of instances. Now, if it was just like Demonic Tutor instead of like green for your creature tutor, then it would kind of, you know, be mana even. But since you don't have to like cast 2 spells into a Ristic Study, it kind of makes it a lot less risky. And there's an unknown aspect to these cards that also give you like a lot of leverage as a player too. If you think that your spell's going to get countered, you can say, is there something I could get that you won't counter my spell for instead?
Let's just start with the tutors, because I feel like realistically that's actually kind of the best part of green. Like for a while, green had mana dorks, Llanowar Elves was very powerful, but green has sort of lost a little bit of that in the recent past. There is mana makers that we'll talk about, but since we're on the tutor aspect of things, green having Finale of Devastation, green having Tutor Ikoria, and green having Nature's Rhythm, these 3 cards are green X, search for a creature and put it into play. That's like the same rate as Demonic Tutor as long as you want a Demonic Tutor for a creature, right?
I also put Quarter Calling on here too, because that one's at instant speed, which is arguably like a way wider aspect of variety.
Truthfully, Quarter Calling is probably better than all of those, but it's green, and even though you can play with the Convoke, it makes it a little bit messier of a comparison to specifically Demonic Tutor, whereas I feel like these 3 in specific are Demonic Tutor. 2 mana, and then X for whatever creature you want and put it right into play.
Except for the battle, because that can only get a non-human. So there's actually a lot of times where like you want these Nature's Rhythm effects to go get you a Grand Abolisher, and this one cannot do that.
Yeah, there is a little bit of restriction. Right off the bat, there's a restriction on you can only Demonic Tutor for the creature, right? But the Ikoria has the extra restriction of you can't get the protection with Grand Abolisher or Voice of Victory.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't even put the Battle of Ikoria on the list list because I just think that there's 10 green spells that are better than it. And it just like, even right here, like there's 4 of them. We didn't even talk about Worldly Tutor, which is like another green tutor that you have access to.
Battle of Ikoria is probably the worst one, but I do think it's still worth bringing up because Kinnan, which is like the best green deck in the format, plays it. They play a lot of weird things. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it is relevant that like some of the best green decks in the format do want Battle of Ikoria, but I agree it is like the worst X green tutor.
That's the thing. They want it because like these tutors are so good that just like having another one of them is going to be good. I just personally think it's like maybe the 11th or 12th best green card.
Yeah, I think you're right. And like it's so weird because the other ones like Finale of Devastation is crazy good because it also doubles as a win condition.
Yeah, if you have infinite mana, you can give the creatures that you have in play +X and haste,
which is very notable.
Exactly. Yeah, so that way if you have infinite mana and like let's say you draw your deck with Thrasios, or you like put all of your deck into play with Kinnan. Now this way with your infinite mana, you can put it all into a Finale of Devastation, give your creatures +infinite and haste so that everything that you just put in can just be swung out at your opponents, and there's no way that all of your opponents have enough blockers for every creature that you have in your deck. And the other cool tech about Finale of Devastation is that it can grab something out of your graveyard.
I always forget that. That's like super relevant.
Yeah, so like if you used Ranger Captain and then got silenced in response, like you get an out to get your Ranger Captain back if for some reason you didn't want to get your Grand Abolisher. That was just like the one example I could think of. But
I think what's also nice specifically about the reanimation part of Finale is you don't have to announce which one you're doing, right? You just pay X is 3 and your opponents don't know if you're going from your library or from your graveyard. And they're going to sometimes forget. Sometimes they're going to check your graveyard, but they don't know exactly, and you don't have to say which one you're doing until the spell resolves.
No, they'll just start going Enduring Vitality. Okay, I guess I'm safe for a turn. And then when you get your Ranger Captain of Eos, they go, oops, oh wait, I thought I was safe.
Yeah, so I think personally that's probably the best one, and for a while has been like the best green X tutor, although it is close because the newer one, the Nature's Rhythm, I actually think that this one is also crazy cracked, specifically with Gaia's Cradle, and again, we're like breaching into different topics, but like Nature's Rhythm specifically being 2 tutors. I know that like it's a lot of mana for the second part of it, the green, and then you also have to tap like a creature or something if you want to pay for the Harmonize or whatever.
But in green, it's realistic that you can do that.
Because of Gaia's Cradle.
Exactly, yeah. So I do feel like it kind of makes it the second best one for that reason, is that there's no restriction on the creature that you can get, and there is a flashback ability with the Harmonize part.
And the other green spell that we'll talk about in these like green X category of the podcast is Court of Calling, which I think this one is kind of underplayed, honestly.
I think so too, yeah. And I think the mana value is what kind of scares me, at least when I first started seeing it pop up in cEDH more.
And like you were saying, the pips, the mana value makes it seem like it's a little bit daunting.
It's a little scary for that reason, but you don't have to be afraid of it. Don't be so scared, because you can convoke your creatures to make it easier.
Yeah, and something that I think it gets missed sometimes with Convoke with players that aren't super familiar with it is that Convoke, you can pay for the green pips of Convoke if you tap a green creature. It says tap for a colorless or for a mana of the creature that you tap.
So Thrasios pays for a green.
Boom, yeah, exactly. So if you already have a green creature in play, then it's effectively green in the X or whatever. If you have more creatures in play, it's effectively free sometimes.
In a lot of like Rograk Thrasios decks, like you can effectively cast this for like even X = 5 for no mana at all, which makes this insanely powerful.
I think the most powerful thing about it is if you're in Consultation decks, because now all of a sudden Court of Calling and Demonic Consultation in your hand is an instant speed win. You can do that whenever you want. You can court for Thoracle, and in response to Thoracle, Demonic Consultation, and win over top of just about anything.
That is really funny.
I feel like that's so simple. In any sort of like blue, black, green based deck, you should be considering Court of Calling if you're playing Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation.
Or even just the fact that like it can get you like an interactive creature. If Opposition Agent's not in your hand, it is Opposition Agent. Same thing with like a surprise Ranger Captain of Eos. Like there's so many different avenues that it can take you down because of its flexibility and its versatility. I think it's better than Nature's Rhythm.
You're probably right. I can see that. You're probably right. Yeah.
I think the flashback of Nature's Rhythm is, while it is realistic to do, there's like 2 decks that are flashing back Nature's Rhythm really well, I think.
I think Sisse does it pretty well, and Rogthrust does it pretty well.
And maybe Kinnan.
Kinnan does it pretty well, too.
So maybe there's like 3 decks that do it very well. But Court of Calling hits up like Thrasios Tymna a lot better, and like there's just a lot more strategies that I think can utilize the instant speed aspect and care about that a little bit more than a second copy of it that they might not ever get.
I feel like Court of Calling and Nature's Rhythm are both better the more green your deck is, but Court of Calling a little bit more with the Thassa's Oracle aspect of things can go into a more variety of decks, whereas the Nature's Rhythm specifically, you need to be like heavy Gaia's Cradle. I
think so too, because you get to a point where like, okay, I have 4 of these and I want to play this. Like I want to play this other card. Like one of these has to get cut. And I feel like Nature's Rhythm is the first to get cut normally, because it's just like, well, I have Finale of Devastation already. I don't always need it to win the game. So if it's just being used as a creature tutor, like I want that as my option over a second copy of it.
I think it goes Finale, Devastation, and then Chord and Rhythm are very close, but I think because Chord has been around longer, I'm going to lean it towards Chord a little bit. So I think it's Finale, Chord, Nature's Rhythm, Invasion of Ikoria.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I could see a world in a couple more years when we redo this that like something happens where Nature's Rhythm pops up a little bit more because
Guy's Cradle gets even better somehow.
There's a way that like a 1 mana 12/12 now we can use to harmonize this or something.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I don't know.
Should we talk about the other green tutors while we're talking about these green tutors here?
We might as well get Worldly Tutor out here.
Worldly Tutor, we haven't really said exactly what these cards do. We've just hinted at them,
because they're on the screen.
They're on the screen.
Do you know how many cards we have to talk about today? If I have to read what all these cards do, we're going to be here for a year.
I feel like that is part of the podcast. But the first, everyone knows what these cards do so far. We
now
don't talk
that
about
Cubby
these.
edits them, people watch them more, so people have to look at the screen more often.
Worldly Tutor, I think, often gets compared to the other top deck tutors like Vampiric Tutor and Mystical Tutor because 1 mana puts something on top of your library, specifically a creature. Worldly Tutor is weirdly the worst one of all of these. Not even weirdly, just it's the worst one of all the top deck tutors.
It just is, yeah, because at least the enchantment one, Enlightened Tutor, can go get like a card advantage engine really early in the game, so it like, kind of transforms really bad looking opening hands into great opening hands, and you can get like a Heuristic Study out on turn 2 with it. And Mystical Tutor just like always finds you interactive piece or a win condition all the time, and like being able to use it in response to a Mystic Remora trigger while someone's going off, and then you can find like your Force of Will to stop someone since they can't pay for your Mystic Remora trigger. Like it feels really good there. And I also miss that Enlightened Tutor also finds win conditions. It finds Underworld Breach.
Yeah, I think the top deck tutors, they have to get multiple things. They have to either keep you alive or win you the game. They have to be able to do both, and sometimes Worldly Tutor can't do both. It can only win you the game. It can only find Thassa's Oracle, but it can't do anything to keep you alive. Whereas like Enlightened Tutor can find Underworld Breach or Heuristic Study. It can win you the game or it can keep you alive.
Yeah.
Whereas like Worldly Tutor, the decks that it's good in are the decks that only want one thing, like Atala. You just want Treason Soaker. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't want to stay alive.
Or after I Atali, I just went Rionia. That's the only other two things. Yeah.
Or you're in something like Kinnan, and in Kinnan plays Endurance, and Kinnan plays Colossal Sky Turtle, and Kinnan plays creatures that can keep it alive, as well as creatures that can help it win the game, right?
Okay, yeah, so I do like it in Kinnan a lot too, because like it's probably one of its better homes where it will feel like a Mystical Tutor in that deck a little bit more, especially because Colossal Sky Turtle, now there's essentially 2 instants or sorceries, quote unquote, that you can find with it.
Exactly.
That's kind of cool. In Atali, all it does is just help you win the game and just push. I'm never finding Endurance with it.
No,
and there's no world where it finds me a non-creature, which is my real interaction.
And in like Rogthras, that's a deck that doesn't really play Worldly Tutor that much, which feels kind of strange because it has so many powerful creatures, but with all of the creature tutors, Worldly Tutor is kind of the worst one when it goes on the top of the deck, whereas all of the right into play ones, Rogthras wants to win right now. It wants to do something right now. It doesn't want to wait. There's no creatures that it's trying to get that are going to be that interactive. Even though it plays Endurance, it doesn't really want to look for that.
Because Worldly Tutor in those Thrasios decks is always 5 mana to get a creature into your hand. And you reveal, it's super obvious what you have now, and everyone's going to interact with you as now you spent 10 mana on your Seedborn Muse.
Right. Like you said, like it's 5 mana to get a creature in your hand, and then you still have to cast it, where all of the X tutors that we talked about, it's like way less mana to get the thing right into play, right?
Whereas Worldly Tutor is a super powerful card and extremely iconic.
Yeah.
I think I agree. It's the worst of all of the tutors that we talked about today. No. It is better than Invasion of Ikoria.
Yeah.
I think Invasion of Ikoria being so redundant and only getting you non-humans, the backside of Invasion of Ikoria is so minimal to me that even when it does come up, oh great, I can attack one player and then lose to somebody else. Great. Thank you for that opportunity, Invasion.
Not being able to get humans, I think it is pretty limiting. Getting only a creature is already limiting, and then limiting what type of creature you can get on top of that.
Yeah.
The tutors are good because of the choices that they give. The rate of tutors is bad. You're spending 2 extra mana for everything that you want. You're spending 1 mana and wasting a draw step for the thing that you want. That rate is a bad rate, but the flexibility of it is really good. That's why the tutors are good, the flexibility of it. So I agree that Worldly Tutor is probably better than Invasion of Ikoria.
You know, if I was doing this list yesterday, I would have put Worldly Tutor over Nature's Rhythm.
Oh.
But after everything that we've said about Nature's Rhythm, I almost want to put Nature's Rhythm above Worldly Tutor.
I like it a little bit more, I think. It's more explosive. It wins you the game right now. It has more ways to like actually like win you the game immediately.
That same hidden aspect, whereas like Worldly Tutor is always like you can tell people, oh, I don't know what I'm tutoring for, but then once you put it on top of your deck, that's what you got.
Right, yeah,
There's no change in anything else.
And also, like from Atali's perspective, Worldly Tutor is much better than all of these X spells because Atali doesn't normally play any of the X spells because they're bad Atali flips.
That's the thing. Right? If I flip into them, I can't put mana into X to go find Squee or something like that.
Not worth it to play Dryad Arbor to go get something X
do not
0.
make your deck worse so that sometimes if you flip into something, you can flip into something bad. Yeah, exactly, right?
Right, yeah. And specifically, Atali Worldly Tutor is better than all of the tutors that we've talked about so far. But in every other deck, I would say that the Nature's Rhythm, it might be better.
I think we're talking about the format as a whole, cEDH as a whole, like the power level of these cards as a whole with like what you can do within the format as opposed to, well, my favorite deck really likes Worldly Tutor better because of Treasonous Ogre.
Other green tutors, we should talk about Eldritch Evolution probably.
Oh, that is on the list. Oh my God, I forgot that is a green creature tutor.
One of my favorites.
Actually, I didn't put it on my list because I wasn't sure that it would make the top 10 because I think it's seen less play recently.
That might be true.
What do you want to Eldritch into anymore? Like, we could talk about Atali all day and talk about how fun it is to sacrifice your own Atali into your Hellkite Corsair.
I've been playing in Rock Thrust a little bit, and I've had a good time of sacrificing a squirrel token to go get Cloud of Fairies. That has felt really good.
Oh, probably finding Oboro Breezecaller is pretty fun, too.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot of good 2-drops, and sacrificing Rograt to go get them is pretty nice, so I like Eldritch for that.
You know, Eldritch is still seeing a lot of play. I don't know what kind of thing I'm smoking over here.
It's really good with Enduring Vitality, another green card that we're going to talk about, because you sacrifice the Enduring Vitality and go get Kinnan or some other thing that's really good, and the Enduring Vitality comes back as an enchantment, which is nice. It doesn't actually go anywhere.
So yeah, you effectively are even on mana still, because even though Enduring Vitality can't tap, the thing that you just got will be able to tap for mana.
Right. One of the most important things I think also about Eldritch Evolution is it's 2 more or less. If you sacrifice a 3-drop, you can get a 5-drop, but you can also get a 4-drop or a 3-drop or a 2-drop or a 1-drop. You can get whatever. So sometimes it might be better to do a little bit of a diversion type thing. You have a 0-drop in play, but you're sacrificing a 2-drop. So your opponents think that you're going to get a 4-drop, and then boom, Thassa's Oracle's like in play, the trigger's on the stack. So like you can like flex a little bit what you get. It's not as specific, whereas like a card that we're not going to talk about, like Neoform, even though I'm talking about it, it has to get specifically 1 mana more. It has to get, there's only 1 realm of what it can get. Whereas the flexibility, like we said, that's why tutors are good. The flexibility. Eldritch Evolution has that flexibility.
You think there's a world where if you sacrifice a 3-drop to get people to think that you're getting a 5-drop, though, it's actually scarier for them because they like hone in on like your 5-drop being really good?
Absolutely, but like I think just
and you go, I'm only getting like
it's
Pete. What was the name of the?
I'm only getting Pete. My buddy Pete. I'm putting him into play.
My buddy Pete's coming in. What's the name of the? I'm trying to think of the other guy that lets you tap. You have to tap him and another permanent to make a mana. Gene is his name.
Gene Pollinator. Oh, yeah,
I was thinking of a Gene. I thought his name was Pete for some reason.
Pete Pollinator.
Yeah, his name Pete Pollinator.
I don't think you would ever Eldritch Evolutionate for Pete the Pollinator. I don't think you would do that.
Or Gene either.
No, but you would definitely Eldritch Evolution for Seedborn Muse. I think there was a time long ago where Tymna Thrasios was the best deck in the format, and the option of once the board got all clogged up and Tymna couldn't get through anymore, then you Eldritch Evolution the Tymna away to go get Seedborn Muse, and you do the Thrasios plan. That is not as common anymore. It can still happen.
There was a lot of decks that were built around, what if I got a shitty partner into play, or my expensive commander into play, so that I can Eldritch Evolution it away to get something better?
Yeah, I definitely played Thrasios Bruise with the thought of I can Neoform or Eldritch Evolution away my Bruise to get Seedborn Muse, and I'm technically now playing 3 Seedborn Muses. And like, okay, sure, that is something. But nowadays, I feel like the format has sped up just enough for like, just like play a better commander or better colors or something.
Or win before you get to the point where you have to put Bruise into play.
Right, yeah, that's not a good spot. Even though I still personally think Seedborn Muse is fucking cracked as hell, and I think the Rock Thrust players that are cutting it, they're a little nutty. And they're winning the tournaments, and I'm not, so I'm not going to question it too much. But Seedborn Muse feels like the way that you break up the mid-range stuff. That's how you like get through all these things. I had a game the other day where I was like tapping Gaia's Cradle for 20 mana and untapping it and doing that on everyone's turn. Like, it gets fucking nutty and insane.
Yeah, it's impossible to lose. Maybe it's just like too much winning.
Yeah, you just don't need it. It's a little bit of a win more, and that's probably true. There's other 5-mana creatures, like you can get like the Whale or Peregrine Drake or something, and you just untap your Gaia's Cradle right now.
Yeah, I guess it's true. You get to untap Gaia's Cradle at the same time, but it untaps your Gaia's Cradle once. Whereas like Seedborn Muse will give you the option to untap it 3 more times within a turn cycle, which is arguably like 6 more times within a turn cycle, realistically, because of Deserted Temple and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, and I think that's the thought why you do the Peregrine Drake thing instead, because you're also playing Deserted Temple, and you're also playing Manamo, and you're playing these other things that are pseudo Gaia's Cradle. So when you untap 3 Gaia's Cradles, it is kind of like one rotation of Seedborn Muse, right?
And it's better to win instead of like pass the turn and hope your opponents can't win, because you're trying to interact with them.
Because you're allowing them to untap. There's so many Born Upon the Wind, Valley Floodcaller. You're giving them an opportunity where they might not have otherwise had it. I get it. I get the reason for the cut, but I do like the Seedborn Muse sneak in when you go, I don't think I'm going to be able to win the game here, so I can resolve this Seedborn Muse, and it acts is a lightning rod. Sometimes people have to get rid of it, and you go, well, I have this other combo over here now. So like, I do still think it's good, but I don't know. I guess I understand why people cut it.
Well, I guess we have 2 cards to rate now, because now we have to figure out where Seedborn Muse goes, and we have to figure out where Eldritch Evolution goes.
Okay, yeah. Should we rank them all against each other?
Well, yeah, because we have to figure out the top 10 green creatures, or the green cards.
Yeah. So far, we got, I think, like Finale of Devastation on the top.
Quarter Calling next.
Then Nature's Rhythm.
Yeah, but I think Eldritch Evolution should squeak in between Nature's Rhythm and Quarter Calling, though. Do you think it's even better than Quarter Calling?
Maybe. No.
Because it's always 3 mana is the thing. Like, no matter what you get out of your deck, your Eldritch Evolution is always 3 mana. Although there is something to be said for it exiling itself when you cast it, which is actually kind of sad.
And also, it's not exactly 3 mana because you have to sacrifice something else that you already invested mana into. So if you sacrifice a 2-drop, it's kind of 5 mana. You split it up, and it's not exactly 5 mana, but you've sort of invested 5 mana in it. Not just 3 mana, right? So like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Dude, I'm having a hard time. I think it's probably worse. No, it's probably better than it.
What do you feel in your heart? I'm going to count to 3.
I think Eldritch is better than Court of Calling.
Great, okay. I didn't have to count to 3 because I'm really happy about that because I was going to mess that up too.
I think Eldritch Evolution is better than Court, but I could be very wrong about that. I'm not really sure. They're close.
I'm going to say it's better than Court too. That's kind of like where I think I wanted to start leading with that because I think that it being cheap when you cast it, I think is the important part versus like having to have so many things in order to make Court of Calling actually work. Like you might have to throw an opening hand away because you don't have Court of Calling like on enough. Whereas Eldritch Evolution, like you're probably playing because it works really fucking well with your commander, and that's what makes Eldritch Evolution so well.
Eldritch is better early on. Court of Calling is kind of bad in the opening hand, and it's really good when you're ahead, but kind of bad when you're behind. If you just get Toxic Deluged and you top deck a Court of Calling, woof, that sucks. Yeah. But if you top deck an Eldritch Evolution and you can just like replay your Rograk for 2 mana and then sack it right away for a Cloud of Fairies or I don't know, something not better, whatever. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit more of like
I miss Dockside Excursions.
It's so fucking bad. But like there's more opportunities in the early game where Eldritch Evolution can be on right away. So I think that's why I rated it a little bit higher.
But Seedborn Muse is worse than all the other cards we talked about so far.
Yeah, well, it's probably better than Nature's Rhythm, or maybe not. Dude, it's so specific. It has to literally only go in Thrasios or Kinnan decks.
I think that's the problem with Seedborn Muse, where like it is this super high point in the deck. Like, are we gonna put Rionia in the top 10
of red cards? Probably not.
Just because it can make 40 to Atali sometimes. Like because Worldly Tutor and all these creature tutors can just
see more play and more.
They see more play. They win you the game way more quickly. And yes, like you said, they're way more versatile. And they're not getting cut from the strategies that they primarily see play in either.
Yeah, Seedborn's better than Invasion of Ikoria, though. That's true.
I haven't written Invasion of Ikoria down yet.
It's not even on. It's not even on here. List.
Yeah. All right, so we have one more tutor to talk about.
Sure.
But I'm sick of talking about creatures. Let's talk about lands.
Oh, yes.
This is crop rotation.
Yeah. Finally, we're talking about Gaia's Cradle, even though we've talked about Gaia's Cradle this whole podcast.
We're going to also talk about Gaia's Cradle right now, too.
Yeah, Gaia's Cradle is one of the big pulls to green right now. I feel like that's what the green decks are doing well, is they're exploiting Gaia's Cradle.
It's so easy to get creatures into play. It's getting more and more easy to get creatures into play. I feel like I say this a lot, but my oldest man Magic take is that I really wish that we still pushed spells as much as we were pushing creatures so much. Whereas now, like, every single good effect is on a creature. So the more creatures that we get into play, honestly, Gaia's Cradle is only going to get way better as cEDH continues to grow.
The more enduring vitalities that we get that make creatures in general better, once creatures get better, Gaia's Cradle gets a little bit better. Once you get more things that work well with other creatures, like Talon Gates of Madara working with the Borbri's Collar, now we have an actual way to win the game with Gaia's Cradle, an actual, like, going infinite. There's other things too. There's Emil and Derevi and shit like that. But the fact that Gaia's Cradle is not only a bucket of mana, but it's also like a win condition. Like you can actually go infinite with it in the mid to late game.
It's really the easiest way to make the most amount of mana in the format right now. Since Dockside got banned and you can't loop that thing anymore, finding ways to completely abuse Gaia's Cradle has really become the best way to not just like make infinite mana in the format, but just make some mana in the format then too. And crop rotation is this incredible way to go find it, to the point where so many of these Gaia's Cradle decks have started playing like really bad versions of crop rotation that like end up putting Gaia's Cradle in their hand instead because it's such a powerful effect to just be able to go get the card that you're built around the most.
Yeah, Sylvan Scrying is like a perfect example of, like, for a while that was not considered to be a cEDH card whatsoever, but now I think it's like an awesome include in Rock Thrash because because just getting as Gaia's Cradle, if you have 5 creatures, 2 mana to make 5 mana, that's pretty good.
And
that's
especially once like you get way more tech lands that you can start to like build around too. Like you already mentioned the Talon Gates of Madara, so that now there's this infinite mana combo that involves 2 lands and 1 creature. So you kind of have a need for multiple of these land tutors as well.
And the nice thing about the mana that Gaia's Cradle makes, as opposed to like the Dark Ritual and the Culling Week mana that the other Rog Sai style decks make, you don't lose stuff when you do the Gaia's Cradle mana. If you get stopped a little bit, if you make 5-6 mana and you cast a creature tutor and they counter your creature tutor, okay, well, that's fine. I still have the same mana next turn. My Dark Ritual is not gone. I still have the Dark Ritual. It's still in play. Next turn, I'm going to do it again. So these like Gaia's Cradle decks get away with a concept that we call like nudging, where like they're not really pushing for a win. They're kind of just like nudging for a win. They're not really winning the game. They're making 8 mana. That's not really a win yet.
It's not a win.
And they activate Thrasios 2 or 3 times, and then they have
a Deserted Temple?
Okay, now it's 10 mana that I'll make. That's still not really a win. I'm just making 10 mana here. Activate Thrasios a couple more times. Okay, now I'm making 16 mana. And now by the time I am going for the win, you saw me draw 8 cards because none of that stuff before now was a win condition, but I've drawn 2 counterspells by now. So by the time I put the win on the stack, now I have the way to protect my win or whatever.
And you also started that turn off with no cards in hand too.
Nothing.
This is the other thing that I've realized about Rogthras is that like Rogthras always is empty-handed.
And they're gonna tell you, I'll help it. I got nothing.
Tell you, yeah, but then they're all of a sudden like full gripped all of a sudden then too.
And I think that's part of why it's so good, because like we were playing a game the other day where you were on Marnius and I was on Rogthras, and we were both in very threatening position. You had drawn 20 cards or whatever, and I had no cards in hand, but I had 100 mana.
You were just about to draw 20 cards.
Yeah, but I could say I had the political thing of I don't have those cards in my hand right now. Cam has the cards, they're in his hand. I can choose not to put them in my hand. Yes, it's threatening. I'm not denying that there's a ton of mana in play, but I don't have them yet. He's already got them. So I can make you the threat before I'm the threat. And then once we all work together to stop you, well then look at me. All right, now I'll start drawing all these cards.
I'll start having them.
It gives you an aspect of like political power that I think is hard to find in cEDH and very precious when you can do that.
Because there's not a lot of information that you're always allowed to know in like from your opponents, and like knowing what's in their graveyard and the number of cards in their hand are like some of the few things that they have to tell you the truth about.
Right, yeah.
So like that's one of the things where I got no cards in my hand, and now you like kind of have to make your judgment decision based upon that information that they're giving you.
Right, yeah. It's a little bit of a trick because when they say they don't have
It's an illusion.
It's an illusion.
Really what it is.
Because like yes, I don't have the cards, but if I can show you 30 mana right now and I have a Thrasios, that's effectively how many times does 4 go into 30? I don't know. Like
less than 8.
Less than 8. But like you're also it's not
4
exactly
times 8 is 32, yeah.
But it's not even 8 cards because it's really closer to like 16 cards because you get a scry in between all of those. So it's like the 8 best of 16 sort of. You know what I mean? So like it looks like I don't have any cards in my hand, or it looks like I'm not doing anything, but mathematically
you're ramping and you're like getting like interaction.
By the time it's relevant, I will have more cards in my hand. I will have the relevant things in my hand because I'm looking for the specific free interaction or whatever that is going to stop you from winning or protect my own win, right?
There is also a downside to now you have to make a bunch of game actions in order to get to the same spot as another player is already at. But at the same time, like that's kind of what you're built around. Like that other player doesn't have 30 mana in play the way that you do. Like because all you needed was mana, you can build everything around just like getting to that mana.
And that mana is super helpful in this heuristic study sloppy world where like we're just trying to like draw cards and stop people from winning and go over top of everyone. When they are using their resources to make finite amount of mana and going down on mana as they go up on cards, you're kind of like going up on mana as you go up on cards, because every once in a while, as you're using some of your mana to look for more interaction, you go, oh, well, here's a Cloud of Fairies, and I have, you know, I'll cast this Born Upon a Wind and then cast the Cloud of Fairies, and then I'll make a bunch of mana. So like as I'm going through my shit, I'm like making more mana as I go, and it allows me to keep on using the interaction that I have to like keep on winning and going over top of somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. So I have Gaia's Cradle as the best green card.
Oh, by far. Even though it's not technically green, it's the reason to be in green most of the time.
It's what a lot of these cards that we're talking about today are like kind of built around, and what a lot of the strategies, I should say, not even like the cards that we're talking about, but the blue-green archetypes that are really like where green is coming back to the forefront of cEDH in is really all built around Gaia's Cradle. So I think it kind of has to be at the top.
There's an argument for some other ones where like, I know they're in more decks. Gaia's Cradle doesn't go in every green deck. I actually don't even know if that's true anymore.
Well, there's a lot of Atali lists that don't play it because it is not good on turn 1. Like the only reason that it makes it playable in the Rog decks is that Rog Rack is free, so you have a way for it to just be a basic forest on turn 1.
It is slow. Like there is a downside to Gaia's Cradle. It's slow. You have to invest creatures first. They have to stick around. If a Toxic Deluge gets you, you're cooked. You're out of that game. Your mana's turned off. All your shit sucks. Like we're lucky that Toxic Deluge isn't super popular right now, but I don't know. We're lucky. Rogthras players are pretty lucky that Toxic Deluge isn't super popular.
I'm very unlucky about it.
Yeah, exactly. There is a downside. You're not really like on and ready to win the game until like at least turn 3. And realistically, a little bit later than that, I would say most Rogthras players, there's ways you can go faster, whatever. You know what I mean? But like for the most part,
green is slow though.
Green
I think
is
in general,
slow,
green is slow. And especially like the decks that are like heavier on Gaia's Cradle are way less, even like the Rogthras decks are way less in on the red stuff, which is actually what gives you speed in that color combination.
Right. Guy's Cradle slow. It's really good, but it's slow. There is a downside.
It's not bad to be slow.
It's not bad necessarily
it's not bad
to be slow. As long as you stay alive. You have to work with the table and politic a little bit to make sure that you stay alive. We all got to work together to stop this turbo player, right?
Look at this guy. Yeah.
Right.
Like crop rotation. So we already kind of mentioned like this is just another Gaia's Cradle here, which means that it's probably really good, right? Because
really
it's
good.
just Gaia's Cradle.
Yeah, it's just Gaia's Cradle, except it's also sometimes Talon Gates of Madara.
And it's also sometimes Ancient Tomb, just to cast an Atali.
Sometimes it's just a Soul Ring kind of, right? It's 1 mana to make 2 colorless mana. That's kind of like a Soul Ring, yeah.
I really love the flexibility of crop rotation.
What other things are you getting with it? You're either getting Gaia's Cradle or you're getting Deserted Temple or you're getting
Emergence Zone.
Oh, dude, Emergence Zone is a huge
And then
get.
it turns on an instant speed win option for you.
You're right. That's the other big one, is being able to win the game instantly off of crop rotation. For just 1 mana, it's huge.
All of the creature tutors can do this too. All the creature tutors can find Valley Floodcaller.
Sure, yeah.
But they're not at instant speed.
Not instant
I guess
speed.
Court of Calling is, though.
Right, yeah, but Court of Calling, in order to get Valley Floodcaller, that's like 6 mana. You can tap some creatures to do it, but like crop rotation
true.
is just the 1 mana, and then I guess it's technically 2 mana to go at instant speed because you have to spend a mana to activate Emergence Zone, right?
That's
right?
true.
So it's
and
kinda
sacrifice that Emergence Zone too.
But the fact that your crop rotation can be Born Upon the Wind when you need it.
An uncounterable Born Upon the Wind, as long as your crop rotation is
Not counterable.
Your Born Upon the Wind is not counterable. You can counter the shit out of the crop rot, but they won't because you're not going to tell them what you're going to do.
Right, yeah, the mystery of it. You can say like, oh, there's a creature right there that we need to get rid of. There's a win in the stack. I could get Talon Gates of Madara with this crop rotation. I could do that, and you could do that because that's not a lie. And you cast crop rotation, and you find Emergence Zone, and then you crack it and you win the game. And you say, I didn't say I would. I said I could.
Saved us from this creature. Yeah, I saved us from the creature that was going to kill us.
We're not going to lose to that anymore. Don't worry, guys. I got you. Emergence Zone. Flash in my win condition.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like that mystery of it is like part of the power of the tutors and the green tutors specifically. So honestly, Gaia's Cradle, crop rotation, and then Finale of Devastation. You have a poison situation.
I got gnarly Poison Ivy, and I like kind of dropped the iPad. I think I like popped a Poison Ivy blister.
Can I see it? Does it look disgusting? Oh! Poison Ivy is probably stronger than crop rotation.
You can get Poison Ivy with crop rotation.
That's true. All right, I feel like we talked about all the green tutors, right? There's technically like Sylvan tutor, but we're not going to talk about that one because that one kind of sucks.
I just want to know where we're putting crop rotation on the list.
Personally put it, it's like under Gaia's Cradle.
I think it should be kind of like around where Court of Calling is. If we're saying that it can kind of do the same thing as Court of Calling.
Yeah, it's better late game, not ideal early game always. I guess sometimes Rock Thrust would still want it to go get something so they can make 2 mana early.
Atali loves it in the early game, yeah.
Well, not early game. They love it on turn 2, maybe, if they flip into it.
Atali,
right? Because in the early game, you got no creatures yet for Atali. On turn 1, doesn't do anything yet.
For crop rotation?
Yeah.
No, you sacrifice a land.
You can get Ancient Tomb.
And you go get Ancient Tomb.
I guess, yeah, I'm thinking Gaia's Cradle's not good. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. What does it go?
Cradle, Finale of Devastation, Eldritch Evolution,
Crop Rot,
Court of Calling.
And then Court of Calling, I think. Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
We talked about all the tutors. Should we talk about some of the more mana stuff since we're on the Gaia's Cradle mana route?
Almost everything else that we have to talk about is mana today.
Besides Beseiju, like one thing of interaction.
There's more than one things of interaction, and there's a win con in here too. We still have a lot of cards to talk about.
Let's get to it.
We got a lot of mana to sort through.
Yeah.
So in the mana section, I only put 2 mana dorks.
1 mana creatures that tap for a mana.
Because they are seeing significantly less play. And these are the only 2 that I can find in like decks consistently across the board, because like Orcish Bowmaster kind of ruined mana dorks for a lot of people.
It really did. I think Birds of Paradise and Delighted Halfling are probably the ones you're talking about.
Those are it, yep.
Yeah, 2 toughness is huge, and we're in Commander, so we have lots of legends in our command zones. We can always cast them uncounterably. That's great. And Birds of Paradise make an any color. That's worth the risk, I think.
It's too good to not play, I think, is realistically what it is. Whereas like Llanowar Elves and the other Llanowar Elf like abilities that already make you color a mana that you already have is not helpful. Yeah. Even like Avacyn's Pilgrim, Elves of Deep Shadow, these other mana dorks that make you a new color of mana, it is not consistent enough.
I think Ignoble and Noble Hierarch are fine, but those aren't green. Those are multicolored things. We don't have to spend too much time on them. Those can be okay too. But as far as just like green ones, or I guess we're not talking about Noble, then why would we talk about Birds? Because same thing kind of. But I think Noble and Ignoble are also considerable. Those are okay, you know?
They're okay, but I think we get to how many of these effects do you want in your deck?
Right, yeah.
Because like I feel like even if Atali could play Ignoble Hierarch, like if I had the option to play another 1 mana dork, I would not take that option because I'm instead playing things like Strike It Rich, like other things that have haste instead. Like I think that like even the decks that could play Ignoble Hierarch and and Noble Hierarch, I think a lot of them are still wanting to shave on that too.
I think if we got a Mana Dork that was a 1/2 that tapped for red or a green, I think Atali might play that.
I would consider that
That
way
would be
more.
better than Birds of Paradise in your deck.
Yeah, at that point.
So like if we had a 2-color dork that had 2 toughness, that would be pretty good. Gene Pollinator is one that I've seen pop up a lot in specifically Rog Thrust decks because you always have Rog right there, so you can just tap the Rog for a mana with the Gene Pollinator, or Gene Pollinator taps any permanent.
It's a permanent, which is actually kind of fucked up. Tap your Heuristic Study.
Tap your Wild Growth that's on the land. When you tap the land with Wild Growth on it, the Wild Growth doesn't actually tap.
That's funny.
So you can tap the Wild Growth, right? You can tap weirdo shit. You tap your Heuristic Study to make a mana. Like, and the 2 toughness is pretty relevant.
I think that's really the saving grace of
Gene Pollinator.
Gene Pollinator, and even Delighted Halfling too.
Yeah.
Just because if Delighted Halfling only had the uncounterability thing, I don't think you'd be interested in Delighted Halfling.
Yeah, I think it's the 2 toughness part of it that makes it something.
That really is the only thing that makes it like survivable and makes it worth playing. So
I do think the Mana Dorks are around Court of Calling, though. They're not quite the best. Maybe Birds of Paradise fixing completely would go a little bit higher, but I do think they're not better than Finale of Devastation. I like
they're
Finale
definitely
more.
not better than Finale. Definitely not better than Eldritch Evolution either, because like Eldritch always turns them into something that you want.
Eldritch is almost kind of good because of them, though, so that makes it they're like kind of close. I would say they're close to Eldritch Evolution.
Which means that Crop Rotation is next. Are they better than Crop Rotation? Delighted Halfling is not better than Crop Rotation.
Absolutely not. Crop Rotation is better than both of these. Better than Birds of Paradise, I would say.
And then now we're at Court of Calling then.
Probably play Birds more often than I would play Chord, but like barely.
I need both of these cards.
They go in the same decks like almost all the time. And I play Chord more than I play
Yeah,
Delighted
Birds
Halfling.
is better than Chord.
Birds is better than Chord.
I could make an argument for Chord to be better than Delighted Halfling.
I think Chord's better than Delighted Halfling. I
Great,
think that's
then
where,
I'll make that argument.
Yeah, it is better than Delighted Halfling.
Thanks for arguing.
Argument made.
Appreciate you, yeah. But it's better than Nature's Rhythm?
Man, it's getting all messy.
I'm feeling messy.
Nature's Rhythm is better than Delighted Halfling.
Worldly Tutor is too.
That might be the truth. Worldly Tutor is better than Delighted
I'm
Halfling.
going to call
Upside's
it the
way
truth.
higher.
Yeah.
Upside's way higher.
Even though it can survive, that doesn't mean that it's good. I think like Deathrite Shaman like is not good anymore.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of getting to a point where like Mana Dorks in general are getting to be too slow.
Yeah, especially with Enduring Vitality, a card that we are going to talk about probably soon.
Right now. Let's talk about it right now.
Right now. Enduring Vitality turns all of your creatures into Birds of Paradise, and all of your creatures, probably most of them, some of them have more than 1 toughness, which is really good. So like Enduring Vitality almost makes the Mana Dork worse a little bit, because for the decks that want Enduring Vitality in play, they always want it in play. Kinnan is tutoring for Enduring Vitality way more than it's tutoring for Seedburn Muse. It's getting that thing into play very early on. Now, Kinnan specifically makes all of your mana creatures with Enduring Vitality tap for 2, which is extra fucking insane.
But like even the Thrasios decks that play Enduring Vitality just play so many creatures that like a lot of times you cast Enduring Vitality and then it makes up for the amount of mana that you cast on
Right
it.
away. Yeah, exactly.
Right away,
You
yeah.
got 3 creatures in play, you cast Enduring Vitality, and you can tap those 3 creatures for mana. Enduring was basically free.
You don't really want to play Mana Dorks then in your deck because it just does nothing for the Mana Dork.
Have them be something else so that then when the Enduring Vitality is out, they're that too.
It's not like we're hurting for ramp spells. There's so many artifacts that still make it easy for you to get stuff out super quickly. So it's not like we're in like desperate need of some Mana Dorks to make that better.
Yeah, and Enduring Vitality being able to come back after it's been destroyed basically sort of makes it unkillable, because no one wants to waste an interaction spell on Enduring Vitality because it doesn't do anything. You have to have 2 interaction spells, and who has 2 interaction spells at one time?
At that point, take out Kinnan instead.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Enduring Vitality, I think, is cracked and one of the best green cards that we've seen in a very long time.
I want to put it above Birds of Paradise. That is for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's become like one of the main focal points of these Guy's Cradle decks for Kinnan, for Sisay. It can be a combo piece with Sisay. It's so good with Valley Floodcaller, a card that came out with it in the same set.
Oh, God.
Because when your Valley Floodcaller taps for a mana with the Enduring Vitality, every spell gets to untap them and you're like netting mana.
They were the same set.
Right? They were both, yeah, they're fucking little animals. They're Bloomburrow shit, I thought.
I think you're right.
Am I wrong? I don't know. I thought they were. This whole time I thought they were the same set.
I thought it might have been Duskmorn that the Endurings were from.
Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right. Were they like close in sets? Or they come out near each other or something? I thought they were in the same, but maybe you're
I
right.
thought they came out a year apart.
Oh, fuck, dude. I don't know. at
Enduring
all.
Vitality is definitely a Duskmorn card.
Okay, so I'm wrong about that. They didn't come out in the same set, but they came out.
But they're
I don't
two
know.
cute animals, though.
Either way, they work really well together in cEDH with Valley Floodcaller, Enduring Vitality, and Birds of Paradise. And Enduring Vitality has gotten really, really high for me recently.
Yeah, there's Enduring Vitality. There's Elvish Spirit Guide is like another one of these mana things that I wanted to talk about just because it's free. It's just like a Lotus Petal in every deck that plays it.
If I could play one green card in Rogsai, it would be Elvish Spirit Guide.
I'm surprised you didn't say Manamorphose.
In my heart, I want it to be that,
but the Spirit Guide's way better.
Spirit Guide would just be better. Free
It would
mana
be,
is just like, it's so insane and unheard of. Like 0 to make 1 is such an unheard of rate. There's only so many things that do it, and it's so powerful.
It's so lucky that Atali gets to play the 2 that we have.
Yeah, it's just the only thing that makes it a little bit weird is it's ritual mana, and a lot of these Guy's Cradles decks, they want to invest in the board. They want reusable mana.
Like, I found it to actually be best in the green decks that aren't heavy on Gaia's Cradle, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Like, the faster you are, I kind of like this.
Although realistically, I think the real truth in cEDH is that the Spirit Guides are just good enough. Even though they don't work with your strategy and it's not permanent mana, 0 to 1 is still such an insane rate that like you kind of have to play it. Like
the difference between getting Kinnan out on turn 1 versus not getting Kinnan out at all is like insane.
It's insane. The fact that you can use it to pay for Beseiju or interaction, or the fact that you can just get on the board earlier.
Or don't even get on the board. Keep it in your hand. And then like that way you don't have to tell people you have a Beseiju or something like that.
In Sisay, sometimes people think you can't activate because you only have 4 pips. If you're playing Elvish Spirit Guide, you can now activate it in a situation that they thought that you couldn't, right?
6 is an awkward number,
6 is an awkward number, so is 4, right?
Yeah. There's so many times where I feel like it's so nice to have that hidden information and then people like completely count you out because of it. But 1 changes so much in the game of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I think for our turbo brains that we're probably a little higher on this card than most people are, but I think the speed, especially nowadays, feels so relevant, especially if you're in a slower deck. You need to survive until turn 2, and having more mana and allowing you to get on board quicker is how you do that, right? That's how you get the turn 1 Arcane Signet into a Mystic Remora where you otherwise wouldn't because your other land couldn't tap for blue, or I don't know, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it allows you to get on board quicker. It allows you to be active in the game earlier. So I think Elvish Spirit Guide is like, what do we have the best card right now?
It's going to be pretty high. Right now, Gaia's Cradle's the best card.
It's worse than Gaia's Cradle.
Worse than Finale Devastation?
Finale? Have we rated Finale too high?
No, we've accurately rated Finale, but I think there are things now we're realizing might be better than Finale.
I don't know if Elvish Spirit Guide is better than Finale, but I think what's right under Finale?
Eldritch Evolution.
It's better than Eldritch Evolution.
That's for sure.
It's at least number 3. There could be an argument that it's actually second. I think it's number 3. What was the other one we were talking about? Enduring Vitality?
Yeah, Enduring Vitality. Where do we put that?
Elvish Spirit Guide is such like a little blip. It does one little thing, whereas Enduring Vitality can completely take over the game. The ceiling is way, way, way higher, but Elvish Spirit Guide requires nothing else, just something to do with the mana. No pre-board advancement, whereas Enduring Vitality, you need to be set up before it's good.
You need a lot of other things to make Enduring Vitality good, but just having free mana is always good. I think Spirit Guide is better than Vitality.
I think so.
What you see Vitality do is always so impressive, but a lot of times, like, you might have never gotten there if you didn't have Elvish Spirit Guide.
Exactly.
Even though Elvish Spirit Guide, like you said, it's a blip. The mark that it makes on the game seems so small, but it actually is way more important because it gets you to the point where all of the other stuff can actually matter. Enduring Vitality wouldn't do anything if you can't cast it.
Enduring Vitality is really good in Kinnan and Sisay and like some other decks.
Some of the Thrasios.
You know, but it's not necessarily good in every green decks. There are some green decks that don't play it at all, whereas like I think there's an argument that Elvish Spirit Guide should probably go in every green deck.
I would think so too, yeah.
Right.
So I do think that Enduring Vitality should be better than Birds of Paradise. And probably Crop Rotation too.
Close. 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 Crop Rot, close.
All these cards go in the same deck.
They all go in very similar decks.
Yeah, they all.
I would say Crop Rot's better. Crop Rot's better in more decks.
Yes, okay.
Because you can play Crop Rot without Gaia's Cradle. You could just use it to get Emergence Zone.
That's also true. Like if you were in like a Green Grixis deck that was trying to go a little bit too fast, you could do that. The Itali list that don't play Cradle still play Crop Rotation.
But they don't play Enduring Vitality.
They will never play Enduring Vitality.
Right?
You are absolutely right. Crop Rotation is better than E-Vitality, yeah. And then there's 2 more mana cards to talk about. We got Badgermole Cub.
A new one.
Which I actually don't know if it's better than any of these other cards that we're talking about now that we've gotten like this far down into the list.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because in some states, it's just like another Kinnan. It's fucking absurd.
But in Pennsylvania, where we are...
Yeah, not so much sometimes. Weirdly, dude, I just took it out of Sisay, and I think that might be a mistake. I think it...
Really?
Yeah, I took it out because I found the extra green mana sometimes wasn't as relevant as what I wanted it to be. But I think that could be wrong. I'm trying out some weird stacks pieces right now, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck else to cut. I will probably take Spider-Woman out and put Badgermole Cub back in. I will preface that. Badgermole Cub is obviously very cracked in some of the formats that it's been in. I see it talked about all the time in Standard. It's like the best card in Standard, but cEDH is very much different than Standard. It's not Standard. We're a whole different thing. So I do think Badgermole Cub working so well with Gaia's Cradle is good because it effectively adds 2 to the Gaia's Cradle count. I think working with Kinnan so well and working with Enduring Vitality, because now when you tap your creature for a mana with Enduring Vitality, it makes an extra mana with Badgermole Cub. That's fucking nuts. The fact that it can protect your Gaia's Cradle from being removed, because even if they exile your Gaia's Cradle after it has a counter on it that makes it a creature, it still comes back.
Everything that we're talking about means that like it's not good on its own.
It's not good on its own.
Especially
you have to already be doing the thing.
And we've already talked about how we're down on mana dorks in a lot of decks too, and this only gives extra mana for when your creatures tap for mana. Right. So if you don't have Enduring Vitality, now your land that you earthbended is really the only thing that's going to be getting value out of your Badgermole Cub. And until you get something else into play, like that's really all it's going to be doing.
A lot of decks are cutting mana dorks now. They're cutting, there's no more Llanowar Elves, there's no more Elves of
Deep Shadow.
Elves of Deep Shadow.
Think of an elf. No one plays it anymore.
No one plays it anymore. And Badgermole Cub works really well with a lot of cards that were good 5 years ago. Not saying it's bad, it's still good. Like, I think it's going to get worse over time.
And I think it's going to not be in today's top 10 for that reason too. It is because like there's so many other impactful things, and it's never the thing that you're tutoring for with the creature tutors that we're talking about.
That's probably true.
Because like you would always rather have Enduring Vitality because it's always going to do more for you. You would always rather have literally any other creature, because if you're going to bump up your Cradle count by 1 just by getting another creature in play, like that's still great. The fact that it bumps your Cradle count up by 2, you could play Orcish Bowmaster and do that too.
Right, yeah. I think if I'm looking for something that's going to make my Guy's Cradle better right now, I'm probably finding Cloud of Fairies. And if I'm looking for something that's going to make my creatures better right now, I'm probably finding Enduring Vitality. But what if you have both of those things in play? Well, you have so many.
You're winning the game.
You're already winning the game. Go find Bora Breeze Caller.
This is a good card when you have it, and it will help progress you to a win state. But I don't think it's ever like the linchpin of a strategy. And I think like a lot of decks like Sisay can remove it and like kind of not miss it.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman might not have been the right card for you to not miss it, but maybe there's another card that you would put in Sisay that would make you not miss Badgermole Cub then too.
I still think Badgermole Cub is very good. I'm not saying that it's not. I just don't know if it's one of the best 10 green cards in the format.
The bar is really high to get into the top 10, I think. And I think that it's not a knock to not be in the top 10. It's just not in the top 10.
It works pretty well with Eldritch Evolution because you sacrifice the thing that you turned into a creature and that thing comes back. That could be something, but I do think it's worse than Eldritch Evolution.
I wasn't going to rate it. I think it's worse than Delighted Halfling. Like, I want to put it way down there.
Worse than Delighted Halfling. That's probably true. Probably goes in less decks than Delighted Halfling. Yeah,
Delighted Halfling is like, it's just a mana dork that's versatile and can stay alive. Whereas, like, we can talk about the case scenarios where you get the Earthbent land back, but you're never winning that game when, like, you have to get rid of that land.
I think it might be better than Delighted Halfling. It just has way, way, way more upside, whereas Delighted Halfling has less upside, but has also a much lower floor.
Well, it's worse than Worldly Tutor, then, I think.
It's worse than Worldly Tutor,
which kicks it out of the top 10.
There we go.
Cabbage Merchant is the last of the mana cards for us to talk about today.
New one, very good.
Very good. Yeah, this is one that I feel like is a little bit more, I mean, so's Badgermole Cub is also pretty new, but I feel like this one's a little bit more tangible in how new it is, and it's something that can kind of be good on its own.
This one works better with the way the metagame is going right now, whereas Badgermole works better with the way the metagame was 5 years ago, right?
Yes, I agree.
Cabbage Merchant works really well in a Ristic Study world. It works really well if everyone's casting spells going over top of each other, huge long stack. Cabbage Merchant is very helpful.
I don't want to be responsible for generating my own value. I want my opponents to be responsible for generating my value. And Badgermole Cub makes me keep doing things that make me run out of resources in my hand. Whereas Cabbage Merchant is a card that is continuously gaining me things without me having to keep spending more to get something else out of it.
Because we're a multiplayer format, having things that are based on what your opponents do, there's 3 of your opponents and 1 of you. Those cards are just always going to be better. They're going to be 3 times better than the version of the card that helps you when you do something for you.
Arguably 75% better.
So I think Cabbage Merchant is honestly a top 10 card in cEDH right now. I think it's so powerful in the best decks that can use it the best.
It's also a deck.
It's also a deck in its own right. It's a commander. You can play it. Although I think I'm playing it tomorrow in a game. I'm very nervous because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with it.
Neither do I, because I have to build it after this.
Okay. So. Yeah, it wins at instant speed somehow. I don't know, with something. Maybe Grinding Station is involved. I'm not really sure.
What's funny? We're both going to be playing Avatar decks tomorrow.
Wonderful. Nice. I love that.
So great. I think they'll love that.
I really like Cabbage Merchant. The fact that you're making so much mana with it at instant speed over and over again is really good.
Have it versus Vitality? Because I feel like they're pretty comparable, right? A 3-mana creature that generates you a lot more mana than you spent to cast it.
They are kind of different sides of the same coin. Whereas Enduring Vitality works really well if you've done a lot, and it works well with the things that you're going on. But
it's
like we just said,
Cub thing,
yeah. But like we just said, the Cabbage Merchant is good with what your opponents are doing. So I think if you are ahead, you find Enduring Vitality. If you are behind, you find Cabbage Merchant, which means that they're kind of even. But like it's more likely that you'll be behind than ahead because there's 3 opponents, 3 of them.
I lose more than I win.
I lose more than I win. So Cabbage Merchant's better.
There's some decks that don't really utilize the mana from Cabbage Merchant super well though too.
Which same as Enduring Vitality. You have to be able to use the mana. You have to be in Thrasios or Sisay to be able to really use either of these cards. That might not be true for Cabbage. Cabbage can go in like 5-color piles and still be just really good in a risk
and
study
index
deck.
and stuff like that too. I would think that Cabbage Merchant is stronger than Enduring Vitality.
Yeah, that's obviously not a blanket statement. There are some situations where Enduring Vitality is way better. Kinnon's already out and you have 10 creatures. Go find Enduring Vitality. That's 20 mana. That's better. That's right
That's
now.
true. Kinnon does not care about you tapping foods to make mana.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's going to be situations where like Enduring Vitality helps you win the game right now. Cabbage Merchant helps you not lose the game. They're very, very similar. I personally think Cabbage Merchant is better because you are going to be behind more often than you're going to be ahead, and Cabbage Merchant is better when you're behind.
And it's also good when you're pushing too, because if people try to start to interact with you, you can still generate more mana as they're doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then what about crop rotation?
Fuck, man, dude, I don't know. It's crop
This is where it's getting really hard.
Crop rots. I still like crop rot more, I think. Crop rotation is better, I think. If Guy's Cradle is the best thing in our format and crop rotation is the easiest and cheapest way to get into play, crop rot's got to be better.
Well, I have 3 more cards for us to quickly talk about.
Okay, let's hear.
One of them is Beseiju, which I think is another one of these lands that, you know, requires green color identity, which is I think why we should talk about this again.
It can be difficult to play around, but specifically I like Beseiju because people think about it often like it's really good against Underworld Breach. There are many ways to play around it, as long as you have a way to get Deflecting Swat in your graveyard first, or you go for a Yawgmoth's Will instead of Underworld Breach.
Yeah, just like cast a couple of Lion's Eye Diamonds first and then continue to do your lines or something like that. I agree. I think that the window for you to be able to use it to get rid of Underworld Breach is extremely small. And a lot of times, like if they have instant speed already, it doesn't matter that you're trying to get rid of it while it's in play. You kind of had to have had something while Underworld Breach was on the stack.
Yeah, normally by the time that Breach is in play, a competent pilot will already be thinking about Beseiju. So they will already know that like as soon as Breach is in play, now I crack Lion's Eye Diamond and I know Deflecting Swat's in my hand. So I crack Lion's Eye Diamond, it's a mana ability, it's already in the graveyard. So if you Beseiju right away, I crack my Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 red mana. So I can cast my Deflecting Swat right away and redirect to Beseiju and then go from there. So you can like catch people, you know what I mean, if they're not thinking about it, or sometimes they won't be able to.
And there's a lot of other combos that utilize, you know, artifacts or enchantments that are important to be able to blow up to. But
either way, even if there are ways to play around it, that doesn't make it not one of the best interactions in the format. You can't counter it, you know what I mean? You have to have exactly Deflecting Swat or like something like that. It's oftentimes just 1 mana. It's still one of the best pieces of removal in the format, and then it's a land when it doesn't need to be.
Just cast your Soul Ring on turn 1 if you need it to do that too.
Exactly. I still think it probably doesn't make it in the top 10 though. What's our 10th card right now?
Honestly, you know, I thought that it would, but I'm not sure that it does.
Because I think we just kicked out Worldly Tutor from the top 10.
Yeah, Worldly Tutor's not in the top 10 anymore.
What's the 10th card right now?
The 10th card is Nature's Rhythm.
It's probably better than Nature.
It's probably better. It's the 10th card. It's the 10th. Because it's worse than Court of Calling, that's for sure. Because interaction is not a strong suit in green. And even though we have an uncounterable Nature's Claim that still has a downside.
They do get to get a land, which is something.
That says something. Yeah. It says get a land.
Yeah. It's better, I think. It's close, though. That's close.
All right, here's another interactive spell. Yep. It's Veil of Summer.
Ooh, yeah. This is one that
it's not really interactive. It's protective.
It's a worse silence. Many moons ago, I would have considered this to be one of the main reasons to be in green. I don't know that that's quite the case anymore.
No, but what I do like about it is that when you do play against Orcish Bowmasters in your infinite mana, have to draw my whole deck. Now, what you're able to do is like draw your whole deck, and then still in response to all the triggers targeting you is just Veil of Summer, and now you don't have to worry about Bowmaster.
I think it's specifically necessary in these green decks that are otherwise pretty bad to Orcish Bowmaster. It's a pretty great answer to Orcish Bowmaster, and that part's good.
But also still so good in huge stack interactions, and you know, even being a silence if you're in a non-white version of these Thrasios decks too or something. So I do think that it does have a lot of really good utility across the board in cEDH. It just like happens to outshine a lot of what other interactive spells like this can do in that specific Orcish Bowmaster scenario.
Yeah, and in that situation, Veil's better, but in most situations, what would be better would just be to counter the Orcish Bowmaster. You know what I mean?
There's fewer things that can counter the Orcish Bowmaster, though.
That's true.
But you are right. It would be better to just not have to deal with Orcish Bowmaster because it's just this turn, right? So like there was probably other things that Bowmaster had to do to you to like keep you from winning for a while and like ping down a lot of your other creatures before you got to this point.
And even if you do have like the removal, like you said, like a lot of the removal in the format is bounce spells, so it's going to bounce the Orcish Bowmaster and then it's got flash, it's going to come right back in. Or even if you swords it, if you have to draw your whole deck to find the swords, well, those triggers are still in the stack.
There.
They're still
Yeah,
at you.
but like at least you can protect your Orcish Bowmaster from bounce with a Veil of Summer, though.
Is it better than Court of Calling?
No.
No, right?
No, I think that interaction again is not Green's strong suit in every version that they have. Like I know I need to compare these cards to Green green cards.
Yeah.
But like I kind of need to compare them to blue cards.
Kind of, because that's how the format is.
Yeah, like Veil of Summer and Boseiju like are worse than the other interaction that blue has to offer. So the decks that are in blue, which is the decks that play green for the most part, like they're kind of not as excited about these interactive spells. And even the decks that play green that don't play blue are not as excited about these interactive spells because I don't care about interacting because I just want to cast a Tali really early.
Yeah, I don't think you play Veil of Summer. Like, I don't think Veil of Summer is a draw to green. Whereas I think these cards that we're talking about, you play green because you get to play with these cards. You play Veil of Summer because you're already playing green. You might as well
have access to a second copy of Silence.
But it's not like you're excited to play Veil because like that's one of the draws to green. The draws to green is Gaia's Cradle. The draws to green is Tutors and Mana, right?
Speaking of draws, though, it does replace itself in the vast majority of circumstances. It can like get your Worldly Tutor card from the top of your library into your hand if you need it to. However, it's always bad when it does that.
Worse than Quarter Calling.
Yeah, and it just ends up being like, here's a slight upside to what this card does. Yeah, worse than Quarter Calling. Worse than Nature's Rhythm?
Yeah, worse than Nature's Rhythm.
Worse than Boseiju.
It's better to protect than to attack, so I think it might be better than Boseiju.
Then it has to be better than Nature's Rhythm.
Is that where we're at right
We
now?
have Boseiju above Nature's Rhythm, yeah.
I guess it is worse than Boseiju, because Boseiju is also just a land.
This is never a land.
This is never a land.
Yeah, I think it's worse than Boseiju.
I think it's worse than Nature's Rhythm. Nature's Rhythm is two creatures. The upside of Nature's Rhythm is so high.
If it's worse than Nature's Rhythm, it's not in the top 10. We have to talk about it anymore. We have one more card to talk about then, Dylan.
Final card. Let's hear it.
Food Chain.
Oh, yeah. Food Chain.
Yeah, right?
Number one card. Best green card in the format.
Best green card. Oh, great. Let me point it up to the top. All right. And there we go. We figured it out. Thanks for watching.
Food Chain was once one of the better things to do in cEDH. It hasn't really been the case for a long time, but it is specifically incredible in Atali.
That is true.
It's undoubtedly like very, very, very strong in Atali.
It is like the best card in Atali. Even though I never want to see it in my opening hand for the most part, it's still like the best card in Atali.
It's a mana maker. It allows you to continue going through your engine. It eventually adds up to a win. It is like the ideal card in the strategy that can support it.
But I just put it on the list because it's played.
It's got to be the 10th card at least. Whatever number 10 is, Food Chain is the 10th. Like,
sounds good.
I don't fucking care. It's our podcast. We can do what we want. All right. So should we talk about our top 10 for in green cards in cEDH?
No, let's talk about cards that did not make the top 10 first.
Some other ones. Okay,
because I want to point out that I just kicked Boseiju, who endures, out of the top 10.
Were there other cards that we didn't talk about today, or just the other ones that are now honorable mentions?
Oh, just they're now honorable mentions. So it's Boseiju, who endures, Nature's Rhythm, Worldly Tutor, Delighted Halfling, and Seedborn Muse. All did not make the list.
All very powerful green cards. I mean, these are still top 15. You know,
they're still top 15, right?
They're still draws to green cards, no doubt.
But Food Chain's better than all of them.
Food Chain's better than all of them.
Shut up, you. Quarter Calling is our number 9.
That one might be a little bit of a hot take, but I stand by it. I think it's underplayed and underrated, and I think it's really, really good.
I realistically think it's better than all of these cards that we talked about so far on the list. I think it deserves its number 9 spot.
Oh, okay. The ones that are below it. It's better than the ones
below on the list. Yeah. Birds of Paradise is number 8.
Birds of Paradise it's going to go down. We do this in a year, it's going to be lower.
It'll go down. Yeah,
but
exactly.
for now, the mana fixing is too good.
Our number 7 card is Enduring Vitality.
It's so cracked with one of the best decks in the format in Kinnan, and it's also really cracked in one of the best decks in the format in Sisei. Makes 1,000 mana, so good.
It's just cracked, yeah. And even though no one will ever crack it for you. Our number 6 card is Cabbage Merchant.
The Cabbage Merchant, yeah.
Very good. Hasn't even had a lot of time to shine.
Good in the meta right now. This is another one where if the meta switches and Rhystic Study gets, I don't know, banned one day or whatever, this one could be worse. But for now, I think it's so important in this really sloppy meta, just being able to give you mana as you go. It's so good.
The 5th best green card in cEDH is Crop Rotation.
It finds the best card on the list, so it's got to be at least number 5.
Eldritch Evolution is our number 4.
This one feels a little hot when you say it out loud. As the 4th best card in the format, is that true? Is Eldritch Evolution this good?
Is it better than Crop Rotation?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Yeah, it is. I bet it is. Yeah. Our number 3, third best one.
Is it Finale Devastation yet?
No, it's not. It's Elvish Spirit Guide.
Oh, yeah. I stand by this one. Free mana so good.
So good, yeah.
Free mana so
which
good.
Arguably, maybe I don't stand by it. Maybe it should be above our number 2 one, which is Finale of Devastation. They should be switched.
There is a world where Enduring Vitality and Cabbage Merchant could appear higher because the ceiling of those cards is so huge. Undoubtedly, like what you can do with those cards is very nutty. But I think Finale of Devastation being such a clean win and also being recursion from your graveyard, it's so flexible. I agree with its slot. And even though Elvish Spirit Guide only does one little thing, that one little thing I feel like is extremely important to cEDH. So I stand by these cards being up here, but I could see as a player you thinking that the ceiling on these cards is not as high as the ceiling of some of the other ones.
Would you evaluate a Planeswalker solely based on its ultimate?
Absolutely not.
Why would you evaluate a cEDH card based on its ceiling only?
You're 100% right. You want to, what is the worst thing that this card does? And the worst thing that Elvish Spirit Guide does is really, really good.
You are doing yourself a huge disservice if you are only considering and heavily weighing the ceilings of cards way more than what the floors are doing.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why we're right.
That's why we're right.
And then the best green card in cEDH cEDH.
Not a green card at all.
Is Gaia's Cradle.
Gaia's Cradle is the reason to be in green for most of these decks. It's the ad nauseum for the green part of the color pie. It's what you're tutoring for. It's what you're getting. It's what your whole deck is based around. What you're mulliganing for. In the green decks that are doing something, it's the best card that you could have.
I think that's one that really can't be disputed.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to say that something's better than Cradle?
Yeah,
like,
I tapped it for 20 mana the other day. That's fucking absurd.
I'm peeing myself. I'm glad I'm sitting down. Oh my God.
What green offers, just as a recap, tutors and mana. That's what it does. It does it pretty good. Thank you so much for watching. If you like to support us directly, you can do so on Patreon, like our $100 patrons.
Shit, I have to go through all these guys and try to do it alphabetically now.
Shit.
Abyss AA.
Don't.
Seabass.
Just do it normal.
Tenception, Mac the Mad, Not Kareth, Bob the Skull, Davishar, Peggy. I said you two already, so that's why I skipped you two already. Yeah. E4 cards and more. Red, Finks MTG, Wandering Around, Nethrizminan. I got it there. Mike H, Tom Bieber, Cumulative Upkeep MTG, Nathan Cohen, Mr. Jerby, Okie Toad, Penguin Man 0089, David Newman, Johnny Denver Omelet, Rocky Hall, Pat Fires, Will Spengler, Larceny, Roy, Zorbe Blue, Sparky B, S.A. Phillip, Old and Groupie, Zach Hartley, Reactive, Sean in the Ice, The Works 472, Gerber Garrett, Mace the Ace, Luke Cook, Connor Sipon, Joshua Day, Demon of Raspberries, Peter Stewart, Corner Wild, Uncle Butts, Doot Luke, Quad J, Hamid, Scott Hawk, Baby Jeebus.
Trying to pick up any of our merch, you can do that at playtowinmtg.com.
Thanks Dragon Shield for supporting our show. Use code PlayToWin5 at the affiliate link down below for 5% off.
You can follow us on the internet for more content.
Thanks for watching too.
See you next time. Should we talk about the $50 patrons also?
Lumi E, Bub Russell, Devin Morrow, SupremeDexLabs.etsy.com, Willow2998, Turtle99, Rick, Sharticus, Meta, Ben Finelli, Jason Brooks, Sarcastic, Mystic Muffin Man, Zachary Coulson, Dalton Poteet, Jan Wild, Frank Thomas Bueno, and David Nelson.
Oh, you weren't recording either.
That'd be so funny.